Welcome to this first class of the DubLi business system. I'm very excited to be here today, talk to you about a system that I think will make a huge difference in your life. And obviously we've divided the DubLi business system into 6 classes, and this is class 1. So hope you enjoy the class today. We're really excited about going in and digging in. We're going to start in this first class talking to you about the psychology of the system and going a little bit of step 1 as well. What is the psychology of the system? What does it come down to? Well, it's pretty simple. In our business, the key to build our business is outlets. The leaders with the most outlets make the most money. The company with the most outlets has the most customers. The company with the most customers has the most market value. It all comes down to outlets. Now, some good examples of outlets. Most of you guys have probably seen out there in business over the last 20, 30 years, the great cola wars have been going on. And it's always Coke versus Pepsi. Everyone's wondering, which one's the biggest. And if you went in this room today, we'd have people on one side that would love Coke. You have those that love Pepsi, and there's some like me that really don't care. This war, though, has been so big. It's a multi-billion-dollar war going on in business. They've even written books about it. There's even been a movie proposed coming out called The Cola Wars as well. Well, interesting enough, though, with all this going on, in the vast majority of taste tests, one cola always comes out on top. Now think about it. Who do you think it is? And knowing that in probably 80-90% of the taste tests, one cola always wins. Well, that winner is RC Cola. Now some of you guys are going, I've never heard of RC Cola, especially if you're out internationally or not as well known. They're just a very, very small brand. Yet in a vast majority of the taste tests, RC Cola is better than Coke or Pepsi. Now why is that? Why is it that these guys are so good, yet most people have never heard of them, and they have a small, almost insignificant market share in the cola industry? A good example of that would be this. Let's say we had a little contest, and we took one guy, we call him Brother A. We sent Brother A out, and he had a chance to go find an RC Cola, and Brother B had a chance to go out and buy a Coke. We said, ready, set, go. And they both went out. Who would come back first? Obviously the guy getting a Coke, because where would he have to go? He could go in the building probably and find a Coke machine. Where would the person needing to get the RC Cola have to go? First, they have to go to a grocery store, and this is the Coke aisle. The aisle opposite is probably the Pepsi aisle. If you look real close next time you're in the store, try to find the RC Cola. In most stores, I know in the US, not sure internationally, you'll find one that's about a half a meter wide, and in there you'll see the RC Cola products. They're very, very small, so it's much harder to find it. The reason Coke and Pepsi are so big is everywhere you go you can find a Coke or Pepsi. Restaurants, grocery stores, vending machines. RC Colas are very hard to come by. So as I said earlier, the key to our business really is outlets. The people who have the most outlets make the most money. In the example of the cola, you don't necessarily have to have the best cola, you just have to have the most outlets, which is kind of crazy. As I said off the top, the company, the team that has the most outlets is going to make the most money. So your job as a leader is to build a team that has the most number of BAs and most number of leaders that are out there leading the charge. The second thing is the company then with the most outlets has the most customers, and that's the key right now. You want to have market value. And you look at the big people, like why is Google so big? Because they have the most people that are searching every day. Why is Facebook so big? 1 billion users. They have people out there, they have the exposure. For us to build our company where we want to go, we want to have the exposure and the customers to get it done, and it all starts with outlets. Now here's a good quote that I think is really important in regards to the system. It has been said, and I believe it to be true, that great businesses are not built by extraordinary people, but by ordinary people doing extraordinary things. But for ordinary people to do extraordinary things, a system, a way of doing things is needed to compensate for the disparity between the skills your people have and the skills needed to produce the results. That's Michael Gerber, The E-Myth, great book. So what are some good examples now of some companies that have had systems? Well, I think the biggest one's McDonald's. Here's the original McDonald's stand back in the 1950s in San Bernardino, California. The McDonald's brothers owned it. They had a nice little operation going, but it was just a one little restaurant operation. Then a visionary came along, a guy by the name of Ray Kroc, and he sold him on taking this idea and taking it all across the country and then eventually all across the world. And now as you look, you'll see McDonald's saying billions and billions served. There's McDonald's everywhere you want to go. At one point, they were the largest restaurant in the world. Recently, Subway just passed them. Of course, Subway passed them using the exact same philosophy of having a system in place. But see, McDonald's remains the model on which an entire generation of entrepreneurs built their fortunes. It's called the turnkey franchise. Now, DubLi is not a franchise at all. We're just using this as an example. Their system provides a franchisee with not just a name, but with an entire system of doing business. So you're not just buying the McDonald's name, you're buying a business system as well. And it's been very successful. I have been in McDonald's now in probably 17 different countries. And every time I get a chance to go to a new country, I go into McDonald's and I'll buy a hamburger. I just recently did this in Slovenia. And you buy a hamburger. It smells the same, it tastes the same. Everywhere you go, no matter where you go in the world, it's the exact same hamburger. Why? It's because their processes are systematized. McDonald's became powerful because the system is powerful. The system then helped them go out there and become one of the largest restaurant chains in the world. Thousands of franchisees became rich because there's never been a McDonald's that's failed to make money. See, all the franchisee had to do was run the system, and the system went out there and ran their business and made the money. It didn't require talent, just abilities that were easily learned and developed as part of the system. And I love that part, because a lot of us today in business go, I don't have a whole lot of talent, but there's an ability I can go learn, I can get that done. See, McDonald's was constructed on a model where the entire business system could be replicated over and over and over again, with each franchise working as reliably and profitably as the ones that preceded it. So we've taken that same philosophy and we've created the DubLi business system. And I promise you, as you trust this system, amazing things will happen in your business. See, companies who have had a system in networking similar to the one we're about to explain to you have really had tremendous success. The system has been responsible for millions of recruits, many of whom never wanted to get into network marketing, but they did so because of the proven system. It's been responsible for billions of dollars of commissions paid out to field forces. It's been responsible for tens of thousands of successful leaders, and it's revolutionized some of the largest industries in the world. And the reason is the DubLi business system provides solutions for your success. It allows you to go out there and leverage your time to multiply your efforts in earning. It allows you to create duplication in others, so the 1,000th leader is as good as the first. If we're going to have outlets, we got to make sure these outlets are just as good, whether it's the master copy or a carbon copy 1,000 levels down. And that's where a system really comes into play. It's got to be you got to have a business that's system driven, not personality driven. So it's not dependent on you as a leader. That way, if just some guy with no business experience joins somewhere at a distance from you, if he just follows the system and puts faith in it, great things will happen for him. And it'll give him a business then that's foolproof, predictable, and profitable. See, the system allows you to go out there and duplicate yourself and the system with your leaders to create a giant distribution system to have outlets. Then you have a continuous opening of new outlets, which helps you build your business, and it also allows you to realize geometric growth. To really have success here and to really build outlets, you don't just want to recruit and build by addition, get a few leaders this month and a few leaders next month. You want this thing to grow exponentially, to have some geometric growth take place. See, in a sense, what you're building here is a leadership factory. Now, if you owned an automobile factory, what would it make? Automobiles. If you had a furniture factory, what would it make? Furniture. Well, here we have a leadership factory. What does it make? Leaders. In the door come the raw materials or the prospects. The result then is to have leaders come out the other side. There's also a byproduct of the system, and that's customers. People who are on DubLi.com, either as free customers, premium customers, or VIP customers, they have a chance then to come out, and that's a byproduct, because some will join our business, they'll obviously become customers, some won't, they become customers as well. So here, it really is the opening of outlets, the movement of products simultaneously. You can focus on one thing, which is phenomenal. The system then allows you to work on your business, not just in your business or doing it. You can focus on building a business, not just on doing business. And then you can build a prototype that can be duplicated. You create your little operation there in your local area, your little leadership factory, hopefully a big leadership factory. Your leaders come in, they see what you're doing, they witness it, they go back out, they build their leadership factories. They then teach their people to do the exact same thing, and all of a sudden you're having duplication taking place, and you go out there and you recruit the world. Very, very simple process. Having a system allows duplication, it allows geometric growth, and it really is the key to your success. So you gotta remember though, with everything you do, keep in mind that you need to implement easy duplicatable steps that every new BA can follow. The DBS really is your blueprint for success. A good example I like to use is this automobile right here. This is an Aston Martin DBS race car. A phenomenal piece of engineering. They spent many, many years engineers testing in wind tunnels, on tracks, creating a race car that's very, very fast, handles very well, is great in endurance races, can hold up for many, many hours. And what an amazing car this is. Now imagine if you wanted to get into racing and you spent all the money to buy this car. Would you look at it and say, you know, I think that front spoiler is a little, I don't know, a little tacky looking. I'm going to take it off. And this wing, that's just not me on the back. I'll take that wing off as well. Let's say you started tinkering with the components of the car. What would happen? Obviously, it wouldn't have the aerodynamics that it's supposed to have. Let's say you popped the hood open and you looked inside and say, you know, this engine, it'd be prettier if these spark plug wires went over here, or if this hose went over there. And pretty soon you started rearranging the hoses to make it look better. What would happen? Well, obviously the car would either not run or run very badly. So the thing is, if you're going to spend the money to buy this car, why would you want to go out there and tweak it and mess with it? You'd want to keep it exactly the way it's supposed to be. Same thing with the system. Our system's proven. There's been many who make a lot of money with this system. Your job is just to run it and run it exactly how it's supposed to be. There might be parts that aren't your personality, but kind of change your personality because it works. It takes care of those human nature tendencies to help people get, to get past their own inhibitions, to go out there and really do what it takes to go out there and succeed. Another great example. Let's say there's this minefield and you walk up on this fence and it says danger mines, and across there on the horizon is success. Who in here would have a little trepidation jumping over this fence and heading off across that field? I know I would. Why? Because you might die. You might lose an arm, might lose a leg. It's a minefield. It's an active minefield. So would you feel a little more comfortable jumping over this fence if you had a map that showed you where all the mines were? Well, of course you would. Would you feel even better though if you can go out across this minefield and you could have a guide that you could follow? Now let me ask you a question. If you had a guide, and someone who's been across that minefield several times, how closely would you follow them? Would you follow them kind of close? No. Would you follow him pretty close? No. You'd follow him exactly, step by step. You would not miss a hit. You'd be in his footsteps. What if all of a sudden he went over some other fence in the minefield and started climbing under some briars and getting all muddy and nasty and scratched up? Would you say, man, I'm not going to get my clothes dirty. I'll just meet him on the other side. Would you consider that? Well, no, because you might get blown up. Well, same thing here in the system. You want to follow the system and your leaders exactly. Because you're going to die if you don't, but your business can die. You can blow prospects out of the water. You want to make sure you follow it exactly. So the key here is to imitate, not create. Remember back in school, when you were in school, you were always told, oh, don't copy is cheating. And of course it was in school, but here, the guy who copies the fastest and the most exact makes the most money. It's just how it works. Now let's dig into our system a little bit. There are 6 steps in the DubLi business system flow. And as you duplicate these steps over and over again, you go out there and build a phenomenal team. First one's prospecting, second one approach, third presentation, fourth follow-up, fifth startup, and 6th duplication. And we're going to talk about each one of these. So we're going to go a little bit into step 1, and then in subsequent classes we'll go into 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. My challenge to you, though, is to go out there and become a master duplicator, replicator of the system. Repeat the DBS 6 steps over and over again, and the speed and exactness with which you copy and execute the system will in large part determine your success. And the exactness must be duplicated throughout your entire team. So let's talk about step 1, prospecting. It's where it all begins, and it's real important. It's real simple if you follow the system, but it's a great step in getting you off to a good start. The purpose of prospecting is to organize and continually cultivate all of your resources to identify potential leaders and customers to bring in your business. Pretty simple. See, we found that most people in marketing who aren't really experiencing the level of success they desire usually don't lack for a good presentation or a timely concept. What they're missing is qualified people to get in front of on a consistent basis. And so we want to solve that problem. So the key to solving that problem is using relationship marketing. Relationship marketing is proven to be the most effective way to get a message or product to market. Quite simple. Now, your prospect area, or your prospect list is made up of 2 different components. Number 1 is your warm market. Now, your warm market consists of all the people you know or associate with, including your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, your coworkers, your business contacts, the ones you know. The second part then is we're going to network to develop new business contacts. These people you're going to meet through personal contact, referrals, internet, and social media. People you're going to add to your prospect list. So let's talk about the actual prospect list itself. What I'm going to challenge you to do is I want you to look at the prospect list not just as a list, but as people and families who can benefit greatly from DubLi Network, from the opportunity, or worst case, become a VIP customer. You know, it's interesting. You think that every single person who's had a lot of success in our industry at some point was just a prospect on somebody's list. And as you look over that list, yes, some people will join your business, some won't, but some will go on and have tremendous success. Their life's going to change. And you don't know who they are. That's why you can't prejudge them. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But look at this as an exciting opportunity. These are families that could really benefit big time from our business. Now here's the actual list. You want to make several copies of these top 25 prospect lists so you can put the information down. But as you're building your list, you want to keep in mind, you really don't want to go out there. You don't want to prejudge anyone or eliminate anyone for any reason. You might think, well, they make too much money or they love their job. Don't. You just really never know who the right person is. One of my leaders from the past told me, there's never been a test devised that can measure the heart of a man or woman. You never really know who's going to be the ones that go out there and get it done. You just got to put them on the list and give them an opportunity. And you also got to remember, it's not just who you know that matters, but who they know as well. Matter of fact, a lot of your recruits will come from people you don't even know, but they're referrals or they're recruits of recruits. You have no idea where they're coming from. Your initial goal, though, is identify your top 25. You want to have about 100 names in your list, just 4 of those sheets. Then we want to identify the top 25. And here are the 7 points that make up a good prospect. They're 25 years in age and older, married, children, homeowner, good business background, good income or substantial savings for a cushion, and somebody who really wants more out of life. Now, does that mean you can't recruit someone if they're missing these? Absolutely not. When I got into this industry, I was a 0-pointer. I was 20 years old, wasn't married, had no children, didn't own a home, didn't have much business background, had no savings. And I did want more out of life. I guess I had 1 point. I wanted more out of life, and that's probably the most important one. But just know, the more of these points they have, the better chance there are for success, because they'll be a little more serious about the business. But making a prospect list with a new business associate and their spouse is really the start of an exciting adventure. Take the time really to meet with both of them together, husband and wife, and use the memory jogger sheet to get as many names as possible. This is a great exercise. You take this memory jogger sheet that we have, and you put top 25 prospect lists in front of your new BA, and you start reading these to them and say, okay, look, you Mr. and Mrs. Jones, who comes to you first when we say who likes to shop? And they'll tell you, who likes to save money? And you just kind of go through this prospect list and just start going through these, and you'll be surprised. And you do a husband and wife together, first of all, because they both know people differently from each other. Plus, they get a little competitive sometimes and come up with the most names. But as you go through this list, you're going to find people come up with a ton of names they wouldn't normally come up on their own. It's a great exercise. Normally, you have anywhere from 300 to 500 names as a result of going through memory jogger sheets. Well, it's time well spent. It's also a good time spent because you're building a relationship with that couple. You're sitting in their home. You're becoming their friend. There's some good laughter takes place in these. It's a great time. Take advantage of doing that list with them together. It's a great opportunity. Let's talk now about social media prospecting. Social media has become a huge part of our lives. It's also a great way to add to your list. Social media is one of the most dynamic and exciting ways to reconnect with people you've known from the past. It's also a great opportunity to meet new people as well to continue to build your prospect list. We recommend in social media, if you haven't already, go ahead and sign up for 2 or 3 of the best social sites. Obviously, Facebook and Google Plus are by far the biggest. There's also LinkedIn, there's Plaxo, there's Twitter. But go in and enter your educational, employment history, and other personal information. And these are keys to helping them kind of find people from the past that you've known. See, I think social media is really used to find people we used to know versus trying to go out there and really just trying to find cold market people. And then as people start getting suggested names popped up based on your former jobs or your former schooling, go ahead and add those people to your friend list. Make sure your page is very family oriented and represents your life, not just your business. Because I think if it's too business oriented, it just takes away from the whole natural approach of social media. It is acceptable to share business related items on your wall, but no more than 2 or 3 times a week. Don't get too crazy with it. If someone starts putting up 4 or 5 business things a day, you eventually want to unfriend them because you don't want to hear about their business in most cases. Then for the business sites, you're going to repeat the same type of setup as you did for the social sites, put all your information in, but this is more of a profile that's more business orientation. The key then is to go out there and really work these business sites, because there it's acceptable to discuss business. And we'll talk more about how to contact both these people on your regular social sites and your business sites more in step 2, contact. But now you've kind of set up, you're starting to build your list, people are taking your friend requests, you're building your network, You might go into new friends you've looked at and look at their friend list and say, oh, I know that guy, I know that guy. Now, don't get all, if you don't know them, don't put a friend request. It's very socially unacceptable. But if you do know them, it's okay to go ahead and send them a friend request. Now we're going to shift gears here a little bit and talk more about how you network to develop new prospects. This is a big one because some people might say, well, I don't know anybody, I'm new in the area. Or they want to take some time in the day to go out there and build their prospect list on top of the warm market they already have. Now we'll talk about referrals here in a second, which always builds as well, but this would be for somebody that kind of says, you know what, I don't think I know anybody. These are some great ways to go out there and build your list. So let's first talk about what we call the form method. The form method is a great tool to use when you're out there personally developing new contacts. See, the key to meeting personal contacts is to be natural. Don't say too much. People don't be overwhelmed no matter how good the message is. And as you go about your day, look for people with whom to start a conversation. Pretty simple. It could be in a shopping mall, it could be in a store, it could be in a restaurant, it could be in line somewhere. And you gotta make it very, very natural. And what the form method does is give you a way to make that natural. The F stands for family. You might ask someone, are you married, do you have children? You know, real simple, good way. People always want to talk about their family. Second one is O for occupation. What does he or she do for a living? How long have they been there? They like their job. What would they like to be doing? R is for recreation. You can ask about your favorite activity or hobbies. What do you do with your family in your spare time? And M is for message. You're going to briefly mention what you do to create some interest. You know, get her name, business card, etc. Now, a lot of times, I don't even leave a message. I just try to get some information from them so I can get back to them later. But usually, family, occupation, recreation, those are some great things to kind of get things going. And then I'll pick up the card so we can kind of get back. And now let's talk about a good example of how you can put all this together. I call it friendship farming. See, friendship farming is one of the secrets that many leaders have used to add prospects to their list. Leaders at all levels have hours scattered throughout the day that are usually filled with just busy work, things that don't move your business forward. These hours can be used more efficiently to add new BAs to their team using friendship farming. It's a great way to go out there, replenish your warm market, or help you get started in a new area. And here's kind of how it works. First of all, you got to remember, the book says it's win friends, then influence people, not the other way around. Don't go for the throat on the first contact. You also got to understand the law of averages and the law of high numbers. That not everyone will join, but if you go through a lot of numbers, the percentages will hold true and you'll have a lot of success. And also don't forget, people need our opportunity to make a serious second income or career change. This really is the most powerful crusade we had. Let it come from your heart when you actually start talking to them about the business. So here's the approach. Let's say you went out during the day and to shopping centers or small businesses that are dotted throughout the world. The best times usually are between 9:30 and 11:45 a.m. after they open before lunch, and after lunch from 1:15 to 5, and most businesses are very slow. You walk into the business, start looking around, the person in the store is going to ask you, may I help you? Pretty safe. That's kind of their job, they're paid to do that. In a very polite tone, just say, no thank you, I had an appointment nearby and I arrived a little early, so I'm just killing a few minutes. This is a nice store, are you the owner? And they usually are not, but you know, it's a good question to kind of get them talking. And they might say, no, I'm the manager or I'm the assistant manager, okay? And so anyway, just start using the form method then to keep the conversation casual, you know, while you're browsing, like, oh, have you worked here long, do you live close by? And don't stay in there about any more than 3 to 5 minutes. Don't talk about the business. And as you leave, just ask for a card. Say, you have a card? Usually they do. If they don't, so what's your name again? Bob, great. You go outside, you write down it's Bob in XYZ store. So you have their name and number. And I'd put them in a file. And I'd wait 2 days to call them back. I think 1 day is too anxious, 3 days is too long, they might forget you. And I put them in a file and I'll call them back, usually on the phone. And I'll say, listen, this is John. I don't know if you remember me or not. I was in your store the other day and we talked about whatever it is, football, or we talked about the weather, talked about your kids. Use one of the subjects you brought up in the form method. So the reason I'm calling is that I'm working within a rapidly growing international company that's expanding here in the area, and we're looking for people who want to make a serious second income or a possible career change. Now I don't like running ads because you never know what kind of person is going to respond, but you seem like the type of person we're looking for. I'd like to send you an email that has some information about us so you can see if you might be interested. In worst case, you might know someone sharp like yourself who may be interested. What is the best email address for you? And then of course send one of the contact emails you're going to learn about in class 2 and just follow the system from there. Let's see what the results could be. If you went out and spent 4 to 6 hours friendship farming, you could expect to pick up, I usually picked up 40 to 60 business cards or names. Now what if only 20 to 30 of those people that you made allowed you to send them an email? That'd be a pretty low average. And what if only 7 to 10 of those 20 to 30 people you sent emails to actually went in and actually saw a DubLi Network presentation? And what if only one person of the 7 to 10 who saw it actually joined the business, which is a very low average? That means out of 60 cards you picked up, one joins. Well, it sounds kind of bad, but let's look. That would mean that using very low averages, you would get one new personal recruiter, one new BA, for every 4 to 6 hours of friendship farming. If you did this 5 days a week for 4 weeks, that'd be 20 personal recruits in 1 month. When was the last time you did that? See, most people have better averages than this, but it shows that even if you weren't very good at friendship farming and used the law of averages and law of high numbers to launch your next wave of personal width, great things can happen. Now again, I think if you have enough more marketing, you have to go out and do this, but I like to show this example because it shows you that even if you don't know anybody, even if you're in a big town, you have no excuse not to go out there and build a business. It's simple, it's easy, and it works. Now let's talk about referrals. Referrals really are the lifeblood of your business. Every new prospect, recruiter, customer you come in contact with can lead you to even more prospects, recruits, and customers through being systematic about getting warm market referrals. And the good part is you can ask for referrals during any of the steps in the DubLi business system, including the approach, the presentation, and the customer presentations. See, I think if you start in the business and you have a huge warm market, lots of people, no matter how big that is, you'll eventually run out of people if you don't get referrals. If you get referrals, you end up with more people on your list than you ever had in the beginning. If you're new to an area or don't know anybody, and you go out to using friendship farming as your approach, you definitely want to ask for referrals because they know people as well, and you can build your list that way. So whether you have a great warm market or not, referrals really are the lifeblood in making sure you always have people to see. So let's give you examples real quick. Let's talk about the approach step. Let's say you go approach someone about the business and they're not interested in hearing the presentation. And they only want to explore becoming a customer. They're just like, no, I don't have time. Say, great. I appreciate how you feel, but let me ask you a quick question before we get off the phone. Or if it's live, obviously they're live. I found my best new associates come through referrals from quality people just like you. Who do you know that may be interested in getting involved in a new business venture or a possible career change? What an easy question to ask. They might say, you know, I got a friend of mine who doesn't like his job. Oh, I got a friend who's real money motivated. He'd really like this. I got a friend who really likes the internet. This would be great for him. And all of a sudden you get 2 or 3 or 4 names from someone, even if they told you no about hearing your presentation. What if they actually see our presentation and aren't interested? They don't want to sign up, they don't want to become a customer or whatever. Say, look, I appreciate getting to meet you today. As you can tell, DubLi can save people a lot of money on the things they buy every day, and it's an amazing concept. Bob, I built my business on referrals from quality people just like you. Would you be kind enough to write down the names of a few people who might benefit from what DubLi has to offer? Again, easy approach. What if you have someone you're giving a presentation to and they want to just become a client? No problem. It's a great chance to ask for referrals because now they've seen the concept, they're excited. Just as you can tell, these concepts will have a dramatic impact on your finances, and it can save you a lot of money on the things you buy every day. The amazing part is most people have never even heard of DubLi. Who do you know that at least needs to have a chance to hear about DubLi so they can have the same opportunity to hear about it as you did? Again, very easy. New customers are some of the best to get referrals from. I promise you, I've had some great stories of people who became customers of mine, gave me referrals. Some of my best leaders came that way. Some of my best customers came that way. It works so well. So how do you contact these people? Well, it's real simple. You can call them on the phone and say, hey Bob, this is John, I'm a friend of Joe's. I recently shared a concept with them that they were really excited about. They really liked what we were doing to save families money on the things they buy every day. And they were kind enough to mention you might be interested in hearing more about it as well. Now there are 2 ways that work best to share the information with you. I can set an appointment to come by and see you at your home, or we have a group presentation on Tuesday night at 7:30. Which of these two ways is best for you? Wait for the answer. And that could be an online meeting or a live meeting, of course. Then you set a time for the appointment, or give the referral direction to the location of the group presentation, or give them a link that's online. If he doesn't commit to coming to a meeting, you can invite them to a webinar, or very least send them a link to your DubLi landing page so they can look at it on their own. You can also go out there and contact them through email. The email is pretty much the same thing before. Dear Bob, I'm a friend of Joe's. I recently shared a concept with them that they were really excited about. They really liked what we were doing to save families money on the things they buy every day. And they were kind enough to mention that you might be interested in hearing more about it. And there are 2 ways they're best to share the information with you. Your presentation in your home or a group presentation in their office, same 2 things. Which is best for look forward to hearing back from you. Once you get information back, you find out what's best, and you go out there and you approach them about the business. So it really is a very, very simple way to go out there and start contacting these referrals. And let's talk about the power of referrals now. Let's say here you were in week 1, and you had one new customer or one new sale, we'll call it. And that customer gave you 10 referrals. Here's 10 people I know that they need to hear about it as well. And let's say only 50% of them became customers of DubLi. That'd be 5. So now we take, in month 2, we have those 5 people, and they gave us 10 referrals each. And let's say only 50% of those became customers, that's 25. Those 25 customers give you 10 referrals, that's 250 referrals, that's 125 signups. 125 signups, 1,250 referrals, 625 signups. So you can see if it might not always work this way. Some will give you 5, some will give you 6, some will give you 2, but it kind of shows you the concept. Some will give you 20 actually. If you're consistent about getting referrals and systematic about it, and teach your leaders to do the same thing, you'll always have people to go out there and present the business to. See, I believe if you execute these prospecting methods properly, you'll never have to consider buying leads or working a cold market where the percentages go down and where it's very tough for you to go out there and approach them. Relationship marketing and relationship prospecting really is the key to building a successful team with leaders who can duplicate what you're doing throughout your team. Learn these principles, learn these scripts, teach them, follow them, be exact, and you'll always have prospects to go see. Look forward to seeing you here in class 2 on how to go out there and approach these prospects. Hope you enjoyed this class today, and look forward to you building a successful career. I hope you're really enjoying what we're doing here at DubLi Academy. Take care.